Right, good evening and welcome to today's workshop masterclass because there is not much actually we're going to be working around. It's more like a little lecture on superfoods and evil foods, evil in inverted commas, and you will understand soon why I am calling certain foods evil, even though I always say there is nothing like good and bad foods. There is no morality about food, but I believe some are more evil, and it's not just the food, but it's the processes they've been produced and whatever has been added to them that is evil. So let me explain in a second, but I want you after this workshop or masterclass to understand what really supports your gut, your health, your hormones, your energy, and that sometimes it's easy to blame some external forces, circumstances, like I've got IBS, and obviously it is very hard to diagnose. There is no particular tests that can confirm clearly that this is IBS, but I believe a lot with IBS symptoms has to do with the quality of foods. And sometimes it's not as obvious. We know that McDonald's is not the healthiest, and we know that crisps are also not the greatest. But sometimes foods that are labeled healthy and are sold as such are not necessarily that. So I want to show you what's quietly wrecking your gut health, possibly your energy, causes bloating, and just feeling of discomfort. So let's dive in. Firstly, what impacts your gut health? As well, what negatively impacts your gut health? Maybe I should start from here because this slide definitely shows you that. What negatively impacts your gut health? Ultra processed foods, we know that. So any sort of takeaways from deep fried oils, and highly processed foods like pastries, sweets, crisps, stuff that doesn't resemble in the slightest any whole foods. Low fiber intake as well, and so many women are guilty of that. Alcohol in excess, we're not talking a glass of Prosecco or wine every now and then, but we're also not talking complete abstinency throughout the week and then binge drinking one event because someone's birthday was on Saturday. That also causes a lot of inflammation, and probably, I'm saying it with a blink, it's better to drink 3 glasses of wine, but spread out through the week than three in one go. Obviously, chronic stress, as always, it affects everything. Poor sleep, but also artificial additives and emulsifiers, and this is the hidden evil, added to almost all half products, really. We, again, not talking about the most obvious, but also of things that seem to be okay. We'll talk about it, obviously, in more detail. Constant snacking, it does, because it affects the acids in your stomach and the lining of your stomach, and not to mention insulin sensitivity. Lack of protein does as well. Excess sugar, hyper palatable foods, which probably is very close to ultra processed foods, and under eating and then binging. So this is pretty straightforward, but I cannot start without mentioning it. Your superfoods, I've decided to, well, I've divided them into different categories, but firstly, what would that be? It's so obvious that I wanted to take it a notch up when it comes to nutritional knowledge, and it would be foods particularly because obviously superfoods will be all foods that have minerals and vitamins and are whole foods, but some will be more superfoods than just whole foods. The foods rich in antioxidants, fiber, high in vitamins and minerals, omega-3 fats. This is very important. Omega-3, you might have heard of 6 and 9. Omega-3 are the most important ones, and actually omega-6 is what we need to avoid. Polyphenols, anti-inflammatory compounds. We'll talk about these. So what they do exactly opposite of what the evil foods do to the gut health, or how negatively they impact, which was seen in this slide. So they support gut health. They support the hormones, digestion, energy, recovery, immune system, but also very importantly, cravings and appetite control. So how did I divide them? Firstly, antioxidants. There is lots of them, but some I believe are a complete must in our diets. So I've prepared a list which literally at least one of these products should be present every single day in your diet. I choose mostly blueberries. I like them most out of the whole group of the dark fruit or the richer color fruit. So blueberries, blackberries, cherries, but also black grapes. Blueberries and blackberries will also be low in carbs and low in sugar, so good for insulin resistance, for diabetes, and for people on the weight loss journey. They have lots of volume, so you can keep picking on them until the brain registers, oh, and now I'm full, even though the calories not necessarily were high, but because of the volume and the length which it took you to consume them, it kind of gets the message there is lots of food, I'm full. Antioxidants obviously help fighting oxidative stress, aging and inflammation. Super important at any age, but especially for us, 35 plus. Pomegranate, dark chocolate, 85% plus. If you tell me you don't like dark chocolate, you can, or it's hard to swallow and chew. That is true because of this high condensation on cocoa powder. But you can, I use it in my shakes. You can also add to other things. You don't need to sit and literally grab dark chocolate, but you can mix it in your yogurt. Also in your milk plus oats, whatever you eat, that has a more liquidy consistency, you can add it to. Green tea as well, especially good quality one and not from tea bags, because of the microplastic in tea bags. By the way, I encourage everyone to start drinking tea from jars or jugs rather than from tea bags. And beetroot. Basically, the darker and the richer the color of either a fruit or a veg, usually the richer the antioxidant content. So I would choose one of these to have every single day. Always. Not on a good day. Always. Another one is superfoods for gut health and digestion. So just read through these. You have kefir, Greek yogurt, sauerkraut, kimchi, garlic, onion, kiwi, pineapple, and oats. For all sorts of reasons, some of them, like kefir, Greek yogurt, kimchi, and sauerkraut, because of the good bacteria, but the others just because of the polyphenols that help digestion, like a pineapple or a kiwi. And again, I would definitely make sure I have every one from this group as well. For you ladies that will be watching back, I suggest you at least either take screenshots of this. Obviously, I'll send you the recording. You can always look back. But it's harder to go through the slides and watch it back again. So rather than doing so, take notes now and choose one of each of the groups so that you can add to your daily menu from each of the groups. So maybe it was blueberries from here. Maybe it's going to be Greek yogurt from here. Maybe you're allergic and lactose intolerant, so don't choose the Greek yogurt. But you can't replace a Greek yogurt with soya yogurt, really. Choose another one. Choose kiwi. Choose pineapple. Choose oats. Next, fiber and blood sugar control. Basically, blood sugar control will be everything with the low glycemic index. How to know it without reading the tables. Basically, it will be fruit and veg that is not sweet. And that the ones that we don't particularly like. Well, yeah, tough luck. But when it comes to fiber, it will be all of them really. Chia seeds, flax seeds are superfoods for also antioxidative reasons. Oats, particularly fiber, and help also digestion. So I would like to see, unless you're particularly allergic, because I know someone was to either chia or flax seeds, But I would like to see both in your diet, 1 tablespoon of each. There's such a good source of good fats as well. And it's so easy to just add it to anything. Remember, with chia seeds, you have to obviously soak them so that they become a little bit soft and moist. With flax seeds, I recommend you buying whole seeds and grind them yourself, because when you buy them grounded, the risk is of them being off. It's the same. There was like a whole the whole history of multiple manufacturers selling peanuts and flax seeds already grounded, or peanuts not necessarily grounded, but just like in those bags, and they were just moldy. So I don't know, it got in my head, it just stuck in my head. So I always buy the full ones. I use flax seeds and chia seeds both in my shake. Lentils, beans. Funny, some of you might as well. With lentils and beans, the thing is they can also be windy ones. So you might actually feel like they give you winds rather than help digestion. But I would say moderation is the answer. I wouldn't start basing my diet fully on beans or lentils if you've never eaten them. I would add maybe 50 grams of lentils to my salad, or I would maybe mix it with rice, or but they go really, really well with salad. But they also work well, and they actually cause less of the doubtful um, pleasure of the wind when they are cooked. So I like cooking lentil soups. Apples, pears, and berries, also high in fiber. Yeah, that's it. Pick and choose. Well, from this list, honestly, these two are non-negotiable unless you obviously are allergic to these. So choose one of these to have daily in your diet. Then, brain and focus support. And it's a shame it's only Rahel, but I wanted to ask you, like, do you see anything that those products have in common? Salmon, sardines, walnuts, eggs, pumpkin seeds, apart from blueberries, extra virgin olive oil. Rahel, can you see anything that maybe they have in common? I mean, they do certainly have something in common. Can you tell?
Yes, they're so they have lots of fat,
Yeah,
maybe.
that's it. Because our brain consists mainly of fat,
Yeah.
and it needs good fats. So dropping the dietary fat too low, and you're risking a brain fog, a lack of focus, and just lowered cognitive function. So we do need those. And sometimes ladies on fat loss journeys try to convince me that the macros were spot on, but the quality of fats is questionable. And we do care about where the fat's coming from. So I would definitely include either eggs or salmon daily. It doesn't need to be every single meal, because then you're gonna tip the fats. Even though they are good sources of fats, you still can exceed and overeat on good, healthy products. But I would definitely include some of those, one of those a day. Extra virgin olive oil, or just an virgin olive oil, should be in general your cooking method. So I think there is no one in this group, at least, that doesn't use olive oil for cooking. And yeah, I'm mentioning that low quality processed fats affect more than your waistline. What about avocado? Yeah, and avocado as well. Sure. Avocado could be here. But yeah, we could add avocado here. True, true, true. Missed that. Blueberries are not fatty at all. They have zero fat, but they're also good for the brain function. Antioxidants, again. So kind of the categories will overlap with certain products. Yeah. Yeah, you like avocado. That's good. Yeah. But again, with those products, then the again, you can easily overeat on good products. So don't get too excited and too carried away with how you combine your meals. Like if I had salmon for dinner, I would definitely have rather dry and low fat source of protein in other meals. Or if I had 2 eggs and knowing that 2 eggs is not enough for protein, I wouldn't just be ramping up number of eggs, but I would just add egg whites. 2 eggs is enough. 1 salmon fillet is enough. Maybe 1.5. Walnuts, 2 walnuts is enough. It's again about the combo, and stick to your macros as always. Then we have anti-inflammatory foods. Um, and this is firstly, they help reduce chronic inflammation. What a chronic inflammation can manifest as bloating, constant constipation, being tired, brain fog, maybe cravings, sluggishness, fatigue, things that you would possibly not ever directly associate with foods, especially if your macros are on point. But again, the quality of foods does matter. And these are like very easily, again, look at berries. Again, berries, that's a superfood. I don't know. I know that you like bananas and mangoes more, but honestly, berries are non-negotiable. Whether you're on a fat loss or not, I always daily have 100 grams of berries. They cost you really so low, so little calories. But yeah, they are not the sweetest ones. So what? They have so many other features worth eating them. But turmeric and black pepper is probably the best for inflammation, but also for immunity, immune system. Probably, I think the next slide is about it. But it's important that you use that combo, turmeric and black pepper, with 1:2 ratio. Sorry, other way around. Bullshit. It's one pepper and 2 turmeric. So if you're using 1 tablespoon of turmeric, you need half a tablespoon of black pepper. It's because of the absorption. Turmeric on its own won't be absorbed that well, very slow, actually low absorption. And also notice those shots in shops and supermarkets. They also always have ginger, turmeric, and black pepper. Just read the labels because exactly of that. Turmeric is amazing, but not on its own. Black pepper as well could be on its own, but again, that combo works so well. Garlic, love garlic in any form or shape. You can, obviously, if you're having a date, I wouldn't use raw, but it combines really well in soups, sauces, stews, curries. Just use it. Fresh garlic, the best. Although there's been some research actually how much of the nutritional values is lost in those powdered forms of herbs and spices. There is some for sure. Fresh ones are better. They taste better, but if you have a choice not using garlic or using a garlic powder, at least use a garlic powder. It still has some qualities. And again, virgin olive oil, berries, green tea, cinnamon. And that is very important, Ceylon one, because there is so much crab salt that is a scam. And actually the other cinnamon, I don't remember where from, but it's the cheaper version. So if you're buying a cheap cinnamon that costs you £1 per pack, or if it comes like in this glass bottle from Tesco or somewhere else, but it's literally 150 or £2, is the shit one. Invest a little bit more. One is going to serve you longer, but two, the other one can be even cancerogenic. So honestly, it's very important that it's Ceylon one. I order mine from Amazon. So that's it about inflammatory superfoods, because again, all foods that are whole foods will be great for us, but these in particular, choose one and use. And I would say, yeah, go for herbs, because you probably have chosen berries in the previous one, or olive oil. Immune and hormonal support, so your immune system, all of these, also support of the hormones, recovery, eggs, red meat, salmon, pumpkin seeds, Brazil nuts, avocado, kiwi, manuka honey. So I would add manuka honey, also graded. I would again also invest in a good one. I don't remember the measurement, the measuring, how do you call it? I'm looking for a word. It doesn't come in grams, but it comes in something like QI or IQ. Not IQ. IQ. My IQ is letting me down now. But don't remember what they measure the active ingredient of Manuka honey, but you do want to buy, again, invest a little bit more. So the cheap ones, like 10 quid ones, are probably not that. So you just could well spend £3 on some sugary honey from Lidl. If you want to buy Manuka honey, buy it from online, and invest a little bit more. Eating it only in room temperatures. I see people make mistakes with honey in general. The same with lemon added to hot tea. The boiling water kills the active ingredients. So it has to be at least room temperature. So remember that. And watch that. Kiwis again on the list. Eggs again. Like these are superfoods. And now, and that's really it. So from like, hopefully you were taking notes and chose at least one superfood from each category, going again from antioxidants to gut health, digestion, fiber and blood sugar control, brain and focus support, anti-inflammatory foods, and immune hormonal support. Great. Now, that's pretty straightforward. I want to talk more about the evil foods. And evil foods, like I've already spilled the beans, are not evil because they are bad. They are just evil because of the way they've been produced and engineered. They are hyper palatable, they are easy to overeat, they are inflammatory, addictive. That's a big word. They are addictive. They are made for you to crave more of them. And some of them, sadly, because of the big marketing strategies, they are misleadingly called healthy. So don't believe the label, read the label. Read the nutritional label, not the front label, not the big print. So, any examples, Rahel? I'm going to put you on the spot again. Like, what foods are like that? Just literally examples from life. Don't tell me McDonald's, we know that.
Sorry, I had bad connection. What was the question?
So evil foods are these. They are
Yes.
sometimes misleadingly marketed as healthy. Does anything come to your mind that possibly can be evil, but is marketed just purely for the sake of sales and profit as healthy?
Oh, maybe any like drinks, like they
Okay.
say it's very high in vitamins, but in reality they are high in sugars or something
Could be.
like.
Good, actually track. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That you're going the right path. So also, if vitamins and marketed as high in vitamins, but also with lots of other additives, what macro has been making a big appearance in the market, and everything high in that macro element is supposed to be great for us. Do you know what I mean? What I refer to?
You mean fat, maybe?
Protein.
Ah, yeah,
Protein.
sure.
Yeah, protein
Yes,
bars, protein yogurt,
yes,
protein
yes.
cheese, protein everything. Actually, I'm shocked how many things are labeled protein. So yeah, these are the examples of the evil food. They are marketed as good, healthy, helping you with the weight loss or weight stability, would be this flavored yogurts. Yeah, yogurt is good, but not flavored one. Like, did you think what goes into those flavorings and what makes it certain color? Granolas, just read the nutritional label. They are not good. None of them. They will always have sugar, and it's not just normal sugar. It's going to be either corn sugar or highly processed other one. And I'm gonna enumerate soon, I think next slide or maybe in 2 slides time, what ingredients to look out for. Protein bars, that's not the same as your protein powders. And also, but while choosing a protein powder, I would be looking for as few ingredients as possible. Breakfast cereals, none of them are good unless it's oats. And literally, I think Weetabix is actually quite natural. It's just formed and shaped a certain way, and that's what you pay for. Just get yourself oats. Then sweetened almond and oat milks. And to be honest, I was a big fan of unsweetened almond milk, and I stopped because I've discovered one shitty ingredient. I was shocked. I've been using it for quite a while. I'll tell you in a sec. Low fat desserts. Some of them will be replaced with sugar. Healthy smoothies, just read, and also we'll talk about the amount of what's good, what's high, what's low of sugar and sodium and stuff like this. But most of healthy smoothies, just get yourself a fruit rather than a healthy smoothie. Again, whatever needs to be preserved for more than 24 hours will have preservatives, will have additives, stabilizers, emulsifiers. Fake protein puddings, 100% not the same as adding a scoop of protein powder to your Greek yogurt. Cheap dark chocolate, read the nutritional label, the cheaper, the worse. And it's probably, and notice also, especially Lidl does that. It has different types of dark chocolate, and only one mentions how much cocoa powder is in it. So there is like 5 different other stuff with mint, with orange, with almonds or something, but it never mentions how much cocoa powder is actually in the dark chocolate. And my assumption is it won't be more than 60%. So that is to me not dark chocolate. 85% is dark chocolate, but again, read nutritional label. Takeaway coffees. I mean, it's most of them are desserts. That's why you like them. You don't like the coffee, you like the sweetness in there. And the sweetness comes not just from sugar, but again, those sweeteners and flavorings added to milks, but also creams and syrups. So you don't also need to be having a proper latte with the whipped cream and whatever. But even if you're having latte with almond milk that is sweetened, that's what you're craving for. It's not the coffee. If you want coffee, have coffee and a bit of a dash of normal milk. But yeah, that's my idea. And that's how I stopped drinking coffee. That's when I realized I don't like coffee really. Now, what to look for, and look at this slide, it's massive. So red flags is when sugar comes as the first ingredient or one of the first ingredients, especially on the front label, because obviously you have a product, you have front and back. In front, they will conveniently, most of the time, put the macro elements and micro elements that are good, but they will hide what is the product is high in most of the time. So maybe they will give you high protein content, but all of a sudden they won't give you carbs, or they will give you carbs, but they won't tell you how much of it is sugar, and so on and so forth. So don't be lazy, turn the product at the back and go into that little nutrition facts label. Another one, glucose syrup, and that is literally everywhere. Cereals, sauces, sweets, pastries. And that is what I mean, the plague, because it's not just a normal sugar, is a glucose syrup. Again, engineered to make it easily and even more easily palatable than normal sugar, and to make you addicted to certain products. Palm oil, terrible thing. Everywhere, like pastries, sweets, biscuits, cereals. Again, you will see that all highly processed foods. High fructose corn syrup, evil. Soft drinks, sweets and sauces, maltodextrin. Watch that name. It will be in a lot of protein products, and it has higher glycemic index than sugar. This is shocking. Mostly protein bars, but also protein products. That super protein products, protein yogurts, vegetable and rapeseed oils, sunflower, soybean, corn oil. I can't tell you. And that's the culprit. That's where I discovered what I discovered in my almond milk, rapeseed oil. Yeah, evil. So I stopped drinking almond milk. I went to cow's milk. I'm lucky I'm not lactose intolerant. But read the labels. I'm not sure about, but I think I was going through all labels. So also walnuts, soy, almond, what other milks there are. Basically, the alternatives to lactose products and lactose milks, and all of them had that shitty rapeseed oil. Maybe, just a maybe, it's worth going for water in certain products and literally even sprinkling a bit of natural sugar rather than using the sweetened, even though unsweetened milk, it says unsweetened milk, it still has a bit of sweetness, don't you think? I don't know if to believe it's completely unsweetened. So anyway, watch these hydrogenated oils, or trans fats. So that is something that should be given at the back of the nutritional label, of the back of the product. You would have total fat, saturated, non-saturated, and trans. Anything with trans is total shite. A bit of saturated fat is okay. There's like a limit and norm. We'll talk about it in a second. But trans fats is the worst, cancerogenic. Emulsifiers, I mean, all of these are. I'll tell you about the risks in a second. Then you have emulsifiers. I can't even pronounce that. I mean, if it looks like a chemistry board, then surely your gut won't like it. Artificial sweeteners, aspartame and sucralose. You want things, if there is a sweetener with stevia, that's a natural sweetener. Stevia is a plant. It's literally just grounded and nothing is added to it. So if you like sweet things and you feel like your life loses any sense without sweetness in certain things, buy stevia. Again, invest, order a big pack from Amazon, and buy stevia. Artificial colorings, they always come as E's, but also another E is MSG. Sometimes you will see those three, sometimes you will see E621. It's to increase flavoring and palatability. This is, again, addiction causing shite. Sodium nitrites, processed meats. So all your cold meats, salamis, hams, bacons, yeah, they are not great. I'm sorry, I'm ruining it. And probably you're like grabbing your head and thinking what the hell to eat. But I promise I'm going to finish on a positive note. But I do want to raise your awareness how much shit we are sold. And that's why so many diseases that have never been heard of 100 years ago, 50 years ago, even in the generation of our parents, are present now. And why people get obese, why people are addicted to food and can't stop, and why there is so many diseases among young people. And we're not talking necessarily directly straight away more serious diseases, but you constantly hear about someone being insulin resistant or having IBS and stuff like this. So these cause that. You may think, oh, it's not much, like, okay, I can do a biscuit once in a blue moon. Yeah, for sure you can, but add all the half products, if not fully processed, and eaten daily, and then you've got it. You've got the chemistry board. And anything, final red flag, anything really that you feel like shouldn't have more than 3 ingredients. You're buying fish and all of a sudden you see 20 ingredients. Like, what the fuck? That's literally what I was looking at yesterday. I was lazy and I thought, maybe I'll just buy a bit of fish with lightly breaded, what did I want to say? Fish with lightly breaded. That's what I want to say. And I looked back just to make sure what those breadcrumbs, is it really breadcrumbs? And then I saw literally 20 ingredients in the list. So obviously I put it back. So yeah, anything with a long list of ingredients is not going to be good. So that's it. Now, how to turn it into the positive? Here I am. The issue isn't one biscuit. The issue isn't one protein bar. I also eat those products. I believe I eat healthy. I've had all my blood work done recently, and I am. So I'm doing something right. And I promise you, I don't eat clean 100%. But I eat mostly clean, yes. And my shopping is 80, 90% clean. And if I feel like eating something outside the Whole Foods list, I make sure that I need to go into effort of going and getting it and eating it. Or if there is some special occasion, I go to someone and they serve certain food, and obviously I have no choice. The issue is when your diet is 50-50. And when I speak to potential clients, not clients yet, but when I speak to women considering coaching, and we talk about bottlenecks in their nutrition, most people say I eat healthy. But when we dive in, I wouldn't agree with this. You think you eat healthy, but using half products is normally the bottleneck. where the silent calories creep in, or maybe digestion isn't as it should be, maybe the energy isn't where it should be, even though calories are on point. So be careful, because those foods are engineered particularly for us to overstimulate us, our taste buds, our appetite, to increase cravings, to disrupt satiety, and to keep us constantly hungry and wanting more. This is marketing. This is sales. This is profits. There's nothing wrong with you. Notice that when you step away from the diet and you actually, like the 80-20 rule, let's say, that you might feel really great, like finally I'm free, yeah, I can eat this. One, you start feeling bloated straight away. You feel full, but you're constantly hungry. You could be eating more and more. You're not satisfied. And you start eventually feeling blah. And that's it. That's good if you have a chance to notice that, because that means that you've already been in the process of eating whole food and noticing the difference. But try convincing someone that eats 50-50 diet, that is increasing whole food by 30% and reducing other shit, actually is going to improve your appetite and satiety. Yeah, it's a hard job, but I'm glad you're in the program and you trusted me. So that's it. Let's not go crazy. Let's not exaggerate. We're all human, and having those products at times won't kill us. But having in abundance every single day without intentionally planning and thinking and reading labels, yeah, it's a problem. So, final slides. What is considered to be high versus low in sugar, in salt, and saturated fat? Because I told you, trans fat would be always bad. There is nothing like, oh, a little bit of trans fat here and there. No, trans fat is just bad. So something considered to be low in sugar would have 5 grams or less per 100 grams. And that's generally a good choice. High sugar is 15 grams plus. Obviously, it's dessert territory. And yeah, you might fancy a dessert every now and then, but let's make sure that you don't have these kind of meals every single day. I allow you, and I always encourage you to go 80-20%, so that 20% is a soul food, but be careful what you're actually having as that 20%. Because if every day you fancy a donut with custard cream and like with the cheap milk chocolate on top, then you're obviously gonna cause disruption in your insulin sensitivity and response and blood sugar levels, etc. So choose wisely that 20%. A donut is okay every now and then, fine, but don't make a custom out of it. Sodium or salt, what's considered low in salt is something that has 0.3 grams per 100 grams, and something high is 1.5. I strongly encourage you, read the labels of your cheeses, salted butters, if you use those, crisps, savory snacks. Strongly encourage you, because the limit from the top of my head for us women is around 4 to 6 grams of salt per day. So out of curiosity, if you're a crisp person, I've become much less, but I love a crisp, by the way, more than sweet. Out of curiosity, go and have a read and check the nutritional label. How much salt one pack has? Also, be careful with reading the labels, because most of the labels will conveniently give you the numbers and ratios and portions per 100 grams. So see what's the weight of the product, okay? The crisp, maybe it's 33 grams, something like this. But I don't know, you buy ready-made or ready marinated chicken, whatever, and one chicken breast is going to be more than 100 grams. So always do a bit, you might need to do a bit of maths. But for the ease, they normally give the portion sizes and the quantities per 100 grams or per half of the pack or per one, I don't know, slice, piece or whatever. Sometimes they help us, sometimes they don't, depending on the brand. And finally, what's low or high in saturated fats? And that matters more than overall fat. Again, trans fat is shite. Put the product back away on the shelf. But normally you would have the total fats and then saturated versus non-saturated. So read saturated. Non-saturated fats It's all the good products, eggs, salmon, avocado, nuts, and seeds. We need them. We want them. Olive oil. It's the saturated fats. So high, over 5 grams. Watch that. Risks. We are risking a lot, ladies. All sorts of diseases might literally be caused by the poor diets, from the inflammation which we talked about, to poor cholesterol profile and high LDL, and that leads to clogged arteries. It leads to cardiovascular disease, to heart attacks, to strokes. Finally, fatty liver, visceral fat gain, visceral fats versus subcutaneous fat. So the fat that you can grab with the fingers, that's the subcutaneous fat. It's like straight under the skin. That's what we're trying. Well, first and foremost, we always attacking the visceral fat. This is dangerous one that causes inflammation. Constant inflammation causes all bad, horrible diseases, including cancers. So this is a dangerous fat. So if your visceral fat is low, which can be the case, your visceral fat is low, but your subcutaneous fat is moderate, it's only aesthetic. You have nothing to worry about. But I suggest to all of you who haven't done blood work within the last, I don't want to say 5 years, I want to say within a year, especially ladies 40 plus, but let's say 3 years, out of curiosity, do at least your cholesterol profile so that you know your LDL, your triglycerides, your cholesterol, and your HDL, which is the good cholesterol that we need. And then the ratio of LDL to HDL will tell you more or less how high your cholesterol is and how fatty the liver is. Fatty liver is dangerous for all organs. It's not just aesthetics. And then obviously insulin resistance then leads to diabetes, obesity, damage to blood vessels. And the milder symptoms, constipation, cravings, poor appetite control, poor gut health. But that's how it starts. If we experience these on a regular basis, not just directly caused by something that we had off, then it's something to look at, the quality of your products and the diet, and maybe have products. I don't want to put anyone on spot, but last week, I think, or 2 weeks ago, we had this workshop, and I've discovered that one of you constantly uses the quick fix chicken rather than normal chicken. So that would be one thing that I would be looking at. Like if you, because it doesn't show in logs, it just shows as chicken. So poor me, assume it's just normal chicken. But like things like that, if you use on the rotation every single day because it's a quick fix, need to be eliminated. You just need to start planning better and bulk cooking so that you use whole products. But again, those would be a signal that something's wrong with the diet, but also check your sleep, check your stress levels, as always. And voila, that's all. So let's not go completely crazy. Like we cannot avoid all of those, but as it's enough that we are aware and we read nutritional labels, especially of half products, and sometimes investing more in certain products like Manuka honey, natural sweetener, better quality cinnamon, and stuff like this. Honestly, it's gonna benefit us long term. Like we can't compare the bill for food with the bill for a doctor. And our longevity and quality of life. Like honestly, food is one thing we should not save money on. There are other things that can go as secondary. Hope you enjoyed it. Rahel, do you have any questions? Was it helpful? Did you find out anything maybe that was shocking?
Sorry, I'm here. Um, well, it was really helpful. Listen to it. I knew lots of it, so but it was just really good to hear it again and rethink and just be aware of the little things which I
Yeah,
yeah
we kind
uh,
of know, but
yes,
sometimes
yeah,
we forget.
yeah,
So the
sorry.
more awareness, that's why I thought this is an awareness workshop slash masterclass.
Mm,
It feels like it's obvious, but it's never enough to mention it again. And maybe to some, it will be new. Thanks for being here, Rahel.
thank you so
Um,
much.
And I'll see you on the next one. Thanks.